Subscribe to the Prepper Historian now, because what we're about to cover is the kind of overlooked detail that quietly separates surface-level history from real understanding. Today's topic isn't about rifles, helmets, or rations you've already heard 1,000 times. This is about the unglamorous, unofficial, and often undocumented survival items World War II soldiers relied on but rarely spoke about, either because they were improvised, frowned upon, or too mundane to make it into reports. If you've spent years studying campaigns and commanders, stay with me for the next minute, because this opening matters. Most men who survived World War II didn't do so because of heroics. They survived because they adapted daily, solved small problems constantly, and carried things that kept them alive in quiet ways. These items didn't win medals, but they won time, warmth, health, and morale. And those are the currencies of survival, whether in 1943 or today. The first survival item worth understanding is personal cordage and thread, often scavenged or stolen rather than issued. Soldiers frequently unravelled parachute lines, tent seams, and even uniform stitching to get usable cord or thread. Official manuals barely mention this, yet diaries and veteran interviews make it clear how essential it was. Thread repaired socks before trench foot set in. Cordage fixed broken straps, hung food out of reach of rodents, repaired shelter frames, and even reinforced boots. For modern preppers, the lesson is direct and practical. Carry multiple forms of repair material, not just paracord, but heavy thread needles and thin wire. Learn to repair gear under poor light and cold fingers. World War II soldiers didn't wait until something fully failed. They fixed early because prevention was survival. The second overlooked item was grease, fat or oil kept for personal use. This wasn't weapon oil or issued lubricant, but scavenged animal fat, axle grease or even butter saved for non-food purposes. Soldiers rubbed it on boots to waterproof cracked leather, coated metal tools to slow rust, and applied it to exposed skin to reduce frostbite in extreme cold. In Eastern Front accounts especially, this practice shows up again and again. Today, this translates to carrying multi-purpose oils and fats that serve more than one role. A small tin of animal fat, beeswax blend, or heavy oil can protect tools, preserve leather, waterproof seams, and act as emergency fire starter material when soaked into cloth. The third survival item was paper, and not for writing letters. Soldiers hoarded paper scraps, newspapers, maps past their usefulness, and packaging. Paper was fire-starting material, insulation, boot stuffing, moisture control, and even temporary bandaging. In wet conditions, stuffing boots with paper overnight pulled moisture out better than air alone. In cold weather, layers of paper inside clothing added surprising insulation. This is a direct reminder that, survival often depends on rethinking common materials. In modern preparedness, paper still matters. Store untreated paper, cardboard, and absorbent material. Practice using it for drying footwear, starting fires without accelerants, and insulating improvised shelters. The fourth item soldiers relied on was unofficial medical supplies, especially alcohol and sugar. Beyond drinking, Alcohol disinfected wounds, cleaned tools and calmed nerves before painful field repairs when proper anesthetics weren't available. Sugar, when applied directly to wounds, helped inhibit bacterial growth, a practice documented in field improvisation, though rarely encouraged officially. Soldiers learned this through necessity, not training. For modern survivalists, the takeaway is understanding basic antimicrobial principles rather than relying solely on packaged medical kits. Knowing how sugar draws moisture away from bacteria or how alcohol can sterilize when iodine isn't available gives you options when supplies run low. The fifth and final survival item was something intangible but consistently present. Personal routines anchored by small objects. A spoon kept for years, a scarf altered to fit perfectly, a repaired mug carried through multiple fronts. These items mattered because they created psychological stability. WWII soldiers rarely talked about this openly, but letters and memoirs reveal it clearly. Familiar objects reinforced identity when everything else was chaos. From a survival standpoint, this is not sentimental fluff. Morale affects decision-making, endurance and risk tolerance. For modern preppers, intentionally including a few familiar, well-used items in kits can ground you under stress and help maintain discipline when conditions deteriorate. Applying these lessons today doesn't require reenacting the past. It requires adopting the mindset behind it. Carry repair capability, not just replacement gear. Value multi-purpose materials over single-use tools. Learn how common substances behave under stress, cold, and scarcity. Practice maintaining gear rather than discarding it. And understand that survival is as much about managing daily degradation as it is about dramatic emergencies. If this kind of grounded, detail-driven history matters to you, subscribe to The Prepper Historian. Share this episode with someone who studies the past seriously, and keep these lessons alive. History isn't meant to be admired from a distance. It's meant to be used.